start the recording. Hey, it's John Williams. We are on the Power Hour, and we're continuing on from where we were yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody out so we can get started. All right, so yesterday, if you weren't here, I thought it was spectacular myself. I thought we did some really good things. And here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to come up with a vision, a group vision for what this group is doing. Right now, we call it Power Hour. I'm sure we can come up with a different name for our group that will grow and grow and grow. And this is a business group, so much of it is about how we create an organization to help take GIA and our organizations to the world. And we have a process that we call Operation Hydration and a campaign that's going on now that's called the Summer of Hydration. So we have the way to do it. And what we're hoping to do today is just kind of finalize, not kind of, but to finalize the ideas that what this group is about, what our mission and purpose is, and create something that other people will want to be a part of. I think we've gone through the hard part really yesterday, trying to get on board with each other with what we want to accomplish, and I think we've done that. Today, I want to take it to the next step, and I want to start off, I've thought about this a lot, about how to go through this, and I'm going to need a lot of your help. So here's what I want to do. Yesterday, Dorje shared her thoughts on what the products have done for her. And she did it in about 2 minutes or less, I think, the way she described it. And so I want to get some more reaction from you all on how you would explain, without telling a big old long story, you've used the products for a period of time, how have they impacted your life? And I want to make a couple of notes. And why I want to do this is because we're talking about now, 5 years from now, seeing in a vision a group of people, a large group of people, maybe a stadium full of group of people, who knows, having the same results that we're going to talk about today. And I don't know about you guys, but hearing Dorje yesterday inspired the hell out of me, really realizing what I didn't know about what the products have done for her. And I know what they've done for me in terms of being the age that I'm at and the ability that I have to do the things I do that I know I would never have had if I wasn't introduced to GIA. And so I want to hear some of that stuff from all of you so that we can kind of get it, not kind of, I hate that word kind of. If I say that, will you just stop me from saying that? So that we can get really clear on what these products are doing for people. And then I'm going to ask another question. The next question is, what has the opportunity done for you? And I want a short answer on that. So who wants to start? Susan Johnson, I think you probably could start with us, right? How have the products enhanced your life without a long drawn out story?
Oh, John, that's a challenge for me. I mean, I'm more the opportunity side of things. I was hoping you'd start there, bless your heart. How have the products changed my life? Well, I cannot go without my eye water. My health has become so much better. I have more energy. I just can't live without them. I'm trying to think of which products I'd even want to talk about. And the whole range of them I have experienced.
It doesn't have to be any specific product. It's the whole in a whole. What if you weren't taking these products, what would your health be like?
Oh, John, my life would be so sluggish, I think is a good word to describe it. I mean, I've just been thinking about what I've done today, and I've had so much get up and go because I started with my proper vitamins that I know are getting into my system. I mean, these products have just taken my wellness to a whole new level.
All right, good. That's cool. Sarah Knott?
Well, you know what? I came from a place where I was in pretty good health before. So I'm not someone that has a dramatic story, but I have been doing this for 10 years. And so when I look at all of my friends that are our ages, they're aching, they're getting out of their chairs and they're complaining, they can hardly walk, their feet hurt, something hurts everybody. And I'm like, oh, I don't have any of that, you know? And so I think it's more of what's didn't happen to me in the last 10 years. And that, you know, I wasn't sick and don't have colds and that kind of thing. So, I mean, I have a lot of stories I share with others about other people and having dramatic results. But for me, it's more about I have less wrinkles, no aches and pains, that kind of thing.
So if you had to lump it all into just one comment, would it be that you are feeling and looking younger than your actual age. Would that be it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Add that to my list as well, because I'm 38 looking, not 50.
I was going to ask Karen how old she is, but I'm not going to ask.
I am currently, Kedzie and I am currently 66. Is that right?
Currently?
Currently. I have a birthday coming in about a week.
Okay, good. All right, so younger feeling, and so picture, as we're saying this, picture thousands of people experiencing exactly that. So that's what I want you all to think about. Just other people felt like we felt. Susan Kibbe.
So I know I told this story not long ago, and I hope it wasn't in this format, but years and years ago when I was in my 60s and I was at a huge outdoor festival in Seattle, I tripped and fell over something that wasn't supposed to be there, landed on the floor, landed on the concrete, had a circle of people around me. I was bleeding. People said, "Oh my God, she's bleeding." And they're up there looking down at me. And the security person used his walkie-talkie to call for help. And he said, "Woman, mid-40s, did face plant on the ground." And I'm lying there saying, "Yes." And I had 2 shiners, but I was in my mid-40s.
Okay.
Again.
So what are you telling us then? How would you explain how these products have impacted your life? How would you say it without telling that story?
Oh God, but it's such a great story, John.
I know. I
God,
love that story.
The woman mid-40s, it's kind of like Check for the Shades, you know?
So is it because, so you're in your 70s?
Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
somewhere in there, yep.
So are you telling us that you feel younger than your actual age and you look younger than your actual age? Is that it?
And people mistake me for like 15 years younger. And my neighbor over here at just outside the gate here, when I gave her the water, she says, "Oh yeah, I always think of you as a much younger person." And then she sees me and she realizes I'm not as much younger as she thought I was. But anyway, she said, "I think it's your energy." I don't know what, but yeah, people see, not just I see myself, but it's nice when other people see me as much younger.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying either. You have more energy than most people for sure. All right, Bev, you're next.
Thank you.
What would you say? How have they impacted you?
My health for sure, without naming specific issues.
Right.
It's leveled my. I didn't store a certain vitamin, and now it's in my system from the iThrive. I can't do it without saying what I had. I have an autoimmune.
Can you say, if you weren't using our products now, how do you think your life would be different?
I don't think I'd be moving.
Okay, so more significant, maybe you should tell us then what it is. I'd like to know if you could tell us.
So I have an autoimmune condition that my sternum is fusing to where it connects to my ribs. So the eye water definitely has helped that. And the smart circles. I have an enlarged thyroid and that is leveled out. It hasn't showed any new growth or nodules in about 2 years now. I didn't store vitamin B12 and now it's in my system.
All good?
I
So
don't know.
great. It would be good if you could figure out how to say that without saying all that. That would be just like boom, came out. Yeah.
You know, there's an acceptable word you might want to try on for size: reversing. The concept of reversing, just playing with that. That's legal, still a legal word.
Okay, Bev, great. I'm glad you shared that. Okay, Kedzie, since you're unmuted, without going long-winded, what would you say?
I was dead and I was alive.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
All right.
I went from the best health of my life to the worst and feeling like I was dying to resurrection within seconds, and then within days, and then months, and then cumulatively over time. And I also have the same thing with that Susan Kibbe said, that people always think I'm much younger, at least 15 years younger than my age number.
So you're 67. You feel like you're 50?
Yeah, I feel much, much younger. People, now I have a young voice, so I'm talking in person. People always think I'm about 30 with my voice on the phone. I always have to tell them if it's a tech call, oh, no, I'm actually, you know, much old. But no, if they're meeting me, they always peg me for a much younger age.
Okay, great. Dead to alive. I like that. All right, good. It's interesting to me when we hear the stories. I know I'm listening to this and I'm pretty impressed and I feel it. I can only imagine what it feels like to you individually, yourself. What I feel, what you feel, yours is much more impactful when it's happening to you. Very cool. Okay, let's see. Sandy, you just joined us, right? Are you working?
No, I'm not working at the moment.
Okay. So what we're asking people is to let us know, without a big old long story, how the products have impacted their life. What would you say?
I could really knock on wood. I'm really never sick. I always feel good, you know. But I have aged. But anyway, no, I love the products. Like I say, I like the Thrive, the Cleanse, and the Edge and the Heart Fit are my go-to products.
If you weren't taking the products, how do you feel your life would be?
Oh, I know I have more energy when I'm taking these products.
Okay.
You know, so I would have crawled up in that ball that Kenzie said.
All right, cool.
But no, I love the products.
Okay, great. Susan Friedman. Thanks, Sandy.
I think what everyone's saying, I think my energy has really been impacted. Again, it's hard to tell because it's been so many years. I mean, the eye water, 15 years of drinking it, or however many years it's been that I've been drinking it, and can't imagine not. And I think similarly, people are surprised when I tell them my age because of my energy, and although my gray hair kind of gives a lot away, but basically, I think I feel younger. I can't imagine that I'm the age that I am because I feel young and energetic.
Okay, great. Young and energetic. I love it. Okay, cool. Jana.
Okay, and there we go. I'm muted. You hear me now? My thingy went dead. Okay, how has the products changed me? I'll say I can't go without my eye water. I was sick 7 years ago, a lot of health issues. And since doing changes in not only environmental health changes, but health changes overall, diet, etc., I'm off of all the medications. I don't have to see any of the doctors, specialists anymore. And, you know, I love my iThrive because same way, I do actually have a little bit of a thyroid issue. I have also iron deficiency that I can't take iron supplements. So for me to do vitamins or to do the iThrive, you know, with the vitamins in, like the B vitamins that I always run low on, vitamin D that I run low on. So my numbers have went up. I'm able, kind of similar to Bev, I'm able to actually intake and hold some of these things that I wasn't able to before. So
how does all of that impact the way you live?
The energy and being able to get up every day and feel good. You know, I get up every day and I feel good, and I love to open up, and I don't have a cabinet that I have to open up a door with medications anymore. I get to just, you know, do my iThrive and a few supplements, and I'm good to go, and I'm full of energy for the day.
Okay,
so I love it.
Okay, great. I'm glad that we got through that, because I think that's the way people will understand the difference between what was before and what is now. That last bit you just described. Way to go. Eileen. Unmute yourself.
I expected to be a minute or two later. I think it has impacted me. I think I would be in probably a wheelchair by now. And instead, I'm riding and training horses, training dogs, gardening. Nearly all my gray hair has gone back to brownish blonde. And I can help people.
Beauty. Great, I love it. Way to describe it. Thanks a lot. Brenda, can you say anything? She's on, I know, with us.
I'm here.
So Brenda, how have the products impacted your life?
Wonderfully. My main thing is I have scoliosis, so I have curvature of the spine. And for years I didn't have any issues, but moving to Texas, or back to Texas, I should say, a car accident in 2014, 2017, did things that changed my body significantly and put me on a pain loop. And I've always sought out alternative methods. And when Gia came into my life 2 years ago, it was really at a breaking point. So the pendant, as I will tell anyone, without the pendant, I am in severe pain. And I did lose it for 2.5 days, so that threshold was tested. And it's a fact, without the pendant, I would probably be on someone's medication. The water does give me plenty of energy. My body tells me when maybe I haven't drank even enough of eye water a particular day, because I can tell, and it's like, oh, I'm feeling a little dehydrated. So I drink my water and I'm great, and I spray and my energy level goes back up. I use the cleanse. You know, I got all I won't say all, but the back brace. My husband and I were out doing staining the fence for several days last week, and we finally finished yesterday, praise the Lord. And I went out there the first day without my back brace. I had my smart strip on, which normally gets me throughout my day, but I immediately thought, I got to go in and put my back brace on. And with my back brace, I was fine. It's amazing. The products are absolutely amazing. They have impacted my life in a huge way that I know things would be so different without them. So I'm grateful that I can manage my pain and keep my pain level down to probably around a 3 or 4 with the products. So yeah.
Good. All right, very cool, very good. Doc, I'm gonna come to you in a minute. Rosemary, you want to talk to us? She's still on, yeah?
Of course I'm still here, I'm listening.
All right. So what would you tell someone if they said, how have these products impacted your life?
Well, I would say someone that I have had numerous surgeries, and so that puts you on usually medications and things for pain, joints, all that sort of thing. And the beauty of this is I've been able even to come off of medications, take less supplements than what I was before, which is huge to me. You used to get a little tired of taking some of the stuff, but it really does help me. I just finished 3 hours out in my yard, and that seems like that would be very difficult for someone with the surgeries I've had and with my age. And I know that I went off without my water at one point, and I could actually feel the difference in my skin. So one of the things I like to do when I'm talking about the water to someone is tell them my age, and then let them feel my skin on my arm, and tell them I don't have to use all those expensive creams anymore because the eye water does it. It hydrates me enough. So.
How old are you?
75. Where'd I get 7? I'm 75.
Would you say you have more energy than most 75-year-olds?
Judging from the ones I graduated with, it's not even just energy. Some of them can barely walk.
To me, going to a reunion is like the wake-up call when you realize, oh my God, what a difference. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Doc White, do you know what we're doing?
I think I'm hearing a few of the stories.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find out what have the products done for us. Describing it not in a big old long story, but if someone said, hey, how have these products impacted your life? How would you describe that without being long-winded?
Right. Well, they obviously do very well to help me be energized. And I came out of a Well, I'm glad to be alive. Let me start with that. That's awesome. Because I know a lot of other guys that had the same thing I had back in the day didn't make it. And it was a toxic shock reaction from a serious tick bite infection. And my arms and legs literally turned black, and I couldn't even grip a pencil. And so that pretty well puts a chiropractor out of business when you can't grip a pencil. And so that was a real interesting time. And it was a slow recovery. Mine, like some of the others, has not been like where I take it and I'm a new man the next day. Mine continues to improve. However, it's at this point, I never take any medicine, take a lot of nutrition. I do 3 shots of iThrive and Cleanse every day, in these 16-ounce bottles. So I got 3 of those a day, 3 ounces each, or an ounce each. So that's every day, plus all the other handfuls of things. And so I had to go back to get a couple of surgical things done on my skin, from being ignorant when I'm a kid, get all the skin damage. And then another abdominal little patch-up job last fall, and got into the prep time for the surgeries. And so when they finally, how they interview you, all the guys come in, check out, let them know who's going to be taking care of me. And so when they come to get me, they said, oh yeah, you're the healthy one. Because I don't take anything of medicine or don't have any conditions, that they know about. So that's done, it's serious. It really helps me.
Okay, great. That's really good. Would you all agree that we aren't sick like other people are? I mean, if you look back in this past year or 10 years, realizing how often we've been sick. For me, I'm trying to remember the last time I might have had a cold, but I haven't had the flu forever. Knock on wood. That's one thing also I think that's prevalent. Susan Kibbe, it looks like you want to share?
Yeah, I want to add a couple things. I love the way Doc said, I don't have any conditions, because a lot of people our age have conditions. And when I go to see my primary care person and she says, what are you taking? Like medication? I say nothing. And she's just in awe. And one time she said to me, I wish I could just clone you. How could you not be taking anything for arthritis or all the many things that I don't have any conditions.
Yeah, same with me almost. I go to the doctor, same thing. Okay, come on, we got to find something. Nope. Right. So what's the common theme of all the stories, would you say? What was the most common thing that came out from this?
That I'm looking forward to being in my 70s.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But what's the common theme that we all kind of brought out?
Energy. Yeah.
Energy.
And enhanced health. Level of
Youthfulness, feeling, looking.
Anti-aging.
Anti-aging, yes. Happiness, energy, all those things keep coming up over and over again. Now, we've been through this, a lot of us have been doing this a long time, right? And so it just becomes who we are. We don't really know what it would be like had we never been introduced to these products, but I think we have a pretty good idea. And I don't know, looking at the screen and looking in the mirror, we're not spring chickens either, right? We're not spring chickens, man, but we have a lot of energy. So the question is this: do you think there would be a lot of people that would be interested in knowing how we do what we do? If we were absolutely on fire telling them the stories and how we all feel, and we could go on, I know that we could have 20, 30, 100, 200 consultants on here, and the stories would be very similar. Every once in a while, you would have a miracle, right? Somebody would have a miracle. I know a few people have miracles with our products, but the miracle is the things that we don't have, that we've never had at all, that we don't even know that we don't have. And that's the story that's hard to tell because you just don't know. But when you think about the future, 5 years from now, can't you imagine that there are millions of people who would like to experience what we have? It's true. And I know that we're not, like I said, we're not that young, but wouldn't some young people like to know how to prevent and continue to live their youth as they get into our age? Some of those people will be more interested, I believe, in what we have to offer, which could help grow the team and grow what we're talking about. Okay, so the next question I want to answer then is, how has the business so far impacted you? Now, that's a kind of a different question because I know I'm looking on the screen and I know who's on here. And up to this point, not everybody's been serious about building a network marketing organization with Gia. Would you all agree with that? So some of you have had a part-time income that comes part-time and it doesn't, not there part-time, but it comes and goes. Can you describe how the business has impacted your life? Whether that's with the actual income that you've created or with the possibility or the hope of what we can do in the future. How would you describe that? Sue Johnson.
It is heavenly. I initially joined the company as a part-time, looking for a second income, and very quickly, within a year and a half, I transferred to full-time with the company. And it's the best thing I ever did, John.
Okay.
I have such freedom. I can do what I need to, as I need to, work my Gia business any hours of the day or night. I have such flexibility, such independence, and it's allowing me to move about freely. I'm not tied to someone else's time schedule. And what I'm going through right now, I'm actually somewhat considering getting a JOB. And the thought is just horrible, absolutely horrible to have to be somewhere on someone else's time schedule. I love what Gia has done for me in that department. We're almost up to the income where I can actually just let go of it all and not worry. But what excites me even more is that as we grow and get bigger, my team gets bigger and stretches further, that it's going to allow me to dig deeper into my dreams and desires. And I mean, Karen inspired us so much yesterday, knowing that what she can do with the extra money, and I'm like, wow, she's got me thinking, a lot of you got me thinking yesterday, actually. So I am just really very grateful for the opportunity to be able to do this full time.
Great. Karen Knott, since you mentioned your name, come on and tell us maybe a little more about what you were saying yesterday.
Well, I do feel like I kind of shared it yesterday, but it was what changed the business for me was getting clear on my why. And I'm grateful that I can take my Gia income and I can use it for my why. And, so my bills are taken care of, and then I can take the additional income and I can fund alternative healthcare. And as we were talking, this happened yesterday is why I'm bringing it up. I was able to send a 24-year-old girl to my MD/naturopath, and she's had significant health issues for many years, and none of the doctors can figure out what's wrong with her. I'm not sure where this is all going to go, but my point is she's 24. So when we talk about people our age, there are a lot of young people that are experiencing some really significant health challenges at that age. And so, she called me last night and we had a long conversation, and I'm just like very hopeful that maybe we've turned a corner here in getting her back on the road to health. So how awesome is that?
And so what you did is you referred her to this doctor and you paid for it. Is that what you do? Very cool. That's very good. Awesome. Congratulations. Okay, Kedsy's full-time pretty much in Gia. How has the income, you don't have to tell us how much it is, but how has it impacted your life? What would you tell someone?
Well, I'll just mention the car bonus, first of all. That's a nice thing to, look forward to every month. I'll just back up a little bit. When I, let's say, reopened the door to more Gia activity a bunch of years ago, I was just starting I had taken my business, my practitioner business, out of working from home. I had a separate building, I had space, I called it my healing palace. Anyway, I decided to take an office. And at the same exact time, I said, I'm going to open the door to that pillar of health we call Gia, among the other things that I offer. And I had no idea that there was what I call a tsunami of energy, kind of what was holding it back, like a thin little layer. And then as soon as I opened that door, bam, it was a tsunami. And I've mentioned before that I became director in a week once I, resumed my GIA business. And I had no idea that that was actually going to happen. So it's been an evolution of every client, every person that I was helping, they pretty much became part of GIA as a pillar of health. So that's kind of how it evolved. Then, more things evolved. Doing booths, doing talks, getting on the radio. I started this radio thing years ago, and it just so happened that with what's going on now, I had more available time, and Carol Blonder, the gal, she kept throwing me deals that I couldn't refuse. And she calls me right away. I have a cancellation. You want to come? Sure. And so that's what Sue was talking about, that we have that flexibility to be able to turn on a dime to say, sure, I'll be there, and I'll take advantage of what you're offering me. So there's a lot of that flexibility. I love the international side of it. My Australian group that, my dream is to spend 2 times a year over there helping, training, and then combining that with a vacation. So there's a lot of things that are mixed together.
But having this business, talking about the business, it sounds like flexibility. I probably would use the word freedom in the same way as flexibility to do the things you want to do, basically. Even though you haven't reached like $10 million a year, you still have the ability to have this flexibility, correct?
Yeah, so for just a quick example, yesterday, because we have fire season and our main highways gets very clogged on the weekends, but I have a horse, everybody knows that, and that she's almost 80 miles away from me right now each way. For years she was 5 miles away, so now I've adjusted. So it's kind of like my partial day off type of thing. So that was yesterday, even though I was on Zoom with you guys, I was on the phone Zoom, even though I was on the meeting, I was having my lunch sitting out under a big shade tree watching my horse dry off in a big, beautiful, pasture land and birds and so forth. To me, that is doing business and learning, whatever. I could have been on the phone talking to somebody, or I could have been doing Operation Hydration while I was, in fact, I told this story yesterday. I met a woman on the street. So it's all combined, but I try to see it as no separation.
Okay, great. Love it. So yes, that's the way I look at it too. So Susan and Kedzie and myself are pretty much close to full-time, whatever full-time is in network marketing. And when I say full-time, honestly, for most of it, I would say it's like 3-4 hours a day, if I were to be honest. So, and we've created an income that creates the freedom, flexibility to do the things we want to do. And the possibilities of doing that even bigger are huge, especially now. So if I'm not wrong about this, but the rest of you are pretty part-time. Would you all agree with that? That you're doing a lot of other things? So tell me from a part-time perspective, how has the money that you've earned impacted you? Anybody want to share? Dorje, you want to go?
Yeah, well, for me, it's been like, there are times when I'm more full-time and times when I'm more part-time. So, when it's been more full-time, it's like, wow, this is great, but when it's more part-time, it's still, there's something coming in every month. There's, I don't know what to say other than that. I mean, it's been helpful whichever way. Of course, I prefer the full-time income, but it's still been helpful, even if it's not as much.
It's interesting how when you talk about full-time income, it's like you put the full-time work in and the full-time income that comes in the months ahead, right?
Yeah.
Like come at the moment. So it's interesting how that works out. But it sounds like having that money coming in, whatever it is helpful. And it's nice getting some checks in the mail, I assume, right?
Certainly.
Okay, great. Anybody else that's part-time you want to share what it's like? Bilby.
Good morning or good afternoon almost. So I'm more part-time with GIA. So it's 2 things for me. I just really love helping people. And I just got a message from my friend David, who just purchased a water system. He said, "Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate you, and I'm grateful to you for all you've done to help me with this new pathway to health." And then I just recently received this beautiful message from Trisha's daughter, who many of you've seen the testimonial on there. She has Asperger's. She doesn't really do very much as far as planning things. She planned out this whole thing of making me this heart and sending it to me, and sent a picture of herself and saying how much the pendant has changed her life. So that is my why. And just from the financial aspect of it, when the this whole health issues started with the virus and so forth, that first month I received, several $100s, which was a nice boost. So I just need to start growing that and continuing on to get to that point where I can actually go full time and be like John and Kedzie.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because in my mind, you are in exactly the position to do that, because whatever's happening to you right now, it's the things that you would want to happen. And I think you've done a lot of work, and to get all this great feeling is awesome, but to get a lot of great feelings from people and several $1,000s a month is even better. So that's
just have to share more. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, it comes down to that, doesn't it? It comes down to that. And then helping other people share. So good job. Thanks for sharing that. Who
Thank
else?
you.
Yeah, who is that?
This Rosemary.
Yeah.
And of course, I am doing part-time, and the beauty of this is that when you're retired or you got Social Security or something coming in, that's not going to change, not enough to be significant anyway. So if you're wanting to be able to pay everything off and not have debt and not leave debt to your family, then you really need to do something else. And I've done another MLM company, and I work and work and work to get to the end of that month to really not have that much of a check. And what this has taught me with working with Gia is the beauty of working in that depth and building a team, that you're not having to do all the work every day of the month, that you have a team and what they do benefits you. And I think Gia really, actually, the way they do it, I think is much better than what some other companies do as far as how much it benefits you from what your clients do. So it's taught me a lot of things. It's the team. It's taught me things I didn't know about that I had to kind of dig in and learn about building a team, supporting a team, that sort of thing. And in the end, it's just, like you say, the beauty of being able to have someone tells you how much you've impacted them or helped them. You can't put a price on how that makes you feel.
Yes, that's very true. And it's the coolest thing is you can do both. You can help someone at the same time create an income. It's very few places does that really work. You're either just all about helping people for the love of it with no income, or you're really focused on the money. This is very different in that way. I'll come back to you, Kedzie. I think Kibby, did you unmute?
Yeah. So I'm definitely part-time, and when quite a few years ago, I was really going through the dark night of the soul, really, really dark. I lost my husband of 30 years, not to death, but he sashayed out, and my house burnt down, and a whole bunch of other things happened, and I felt like it was an abrupt, unexpected, major life. They were major life challenges, and my former husband had been the primary breadwinner, and I just didn't expect to find myself in this situation. And then I heard about Gia, and it sounded really great health-wise, and also something that I could plug into that would meet this hole in my life. And it's been what can I say, John? You used a term which I don't remember what it was. Even if we're not making the income, we know that we could.
Mhm.
Even if we're not doing what other people are doing, we know that that's a possibility there. And that is really powerful. It's a powerful knowledge to have that I could do that.
Yeah, like it's there for you. It's hope for the future.
It's there for me. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Kenzie, you had something?
Yeah, it's kind of, it came out of something from the other day. I can't remember who it was, whether it was Stella. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now who it was that said this, but they were a little agonizing. Maybe it was Eileen. I don't remember. Anyway, someone of our group, they were agonizing over, not being able to help someone, talking about things, and then they reject the idea of going forward or whatnot, and that we could either accept it as agony or move on to the next person. I always call it concentric circles. Like, now that person goes out further in your concentric circles, and then you bring other people into your closer in circles. But what I was talking to Bilby, and I said, when I had my retail natural food markets and someone came in and maybe they walked the entire store, all the aisles, and looked at, picked things up and looked at things and whatnot, maybe asked a question and, this, that, or the other, and then they left. There was no agonizing. There was no, it was more curiosity. Gee, I wonder what we didn't have, or wonder what, you just a little wonderment, and then you move on to the next task or the next person or the next this or that, or phone call, whatever you're doing. But it flew into my head as a reminder that we can't allow ourselves to stop and decide to feel agony or whatever. I'm using that word.
No, I love that idea that you have a business, like we all have a business. Yours was people walked in and then they walked out, and you don't agonize. You don't, oh my gosh, what did I not say? What did I not do? What happened? But for some reason, it's always different with our business. And I think because we're not all meant to be salespeople, we're not all meant to be entrepreneurs. I don't think we're all born for that. It's something we do learn about, right?
Well, here's another fun thing to throw in there. There was a time when 5 miles up the road was a natural food market that had been there a long time, but she wasn't heavy into, I was the organic produce and the whole thing, huge. Okay. But I started hearing that my employees or customers would say, hey, I saw your customer down at blah, 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 and they were, filling up a whole, whatever, they would tell me. And after a while, I was concerned, and I thought, I'm going to create a survey. And I created a bunch of questions that I had. Curiosity, I'm very curious survey. And I physically did it. I didn't have my employees do it because I wanted to, I didn't want to leave it in anybody else's hands. Well, what I found out, and this is, nationally at the time, there were all kinds of surveys in our industry because we were growing. Anyhow, I found out that people, even though they thought my store was cleaner, my store was nicer, the employees were better, I was even nicer than the other owner. Everything was yes, 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 good, good, good. But they didn't want to spend all their money in one place. So even if they were buying exactly the same products, and I might have even had better prices, it was the idea of if you had $100, they wanted to spend 50 here and 50 there. I'm just making that number up. But it was a feeling of more power, that they had more buying power because they got to go to two places instead of spending it all in one. Okay, that's what I ended up finding out. It changed. So whatever it is that we can find out, being curious is a good thing, however we do it.
So I'm curious if there's anybody else that wants to share about what that income is meant for them. If someone were to ask you that, could you answer that question, or would you? Anybody?
Well,
John,
for me,
Susan Friedman?
The expression checks in the mail is something that just, it's like, oh, checks in the mail. When I go to the mail and there's a check in the mail, I feel like I just get uplifted. and that what I've had to do for it has been connecting with people in ways that feel good to me.
Mhm.
So, as well as sharing something that feels good to them and to me. So that's kind of the impact of it. They're not, you know, it hasn't been great. It's very, right now it's very part-time, and I'm in the middle of several other things that have to be done in a kind of timely manner. And you know, checks in the mail are just, that just light me up.
Right,
I feel
great.
like-
Good way to put it. All right, so we could go further with this. And remember, some of us are full-time, part-time. So my goal for all of us would be to be more full-time income-wise, because it doesn't take a lot of hours, honestly. Like I said, I asked Sue Johnson, she said probably 3 hours a day. Kedzie, you probably work more than that because you're traveling, but me, probably 3 to 4 hours, maybe a day, and to create an income. And I always like to ask people to, when they start to kind of not going to say that anymore. When they complain about their income, I ask them to figure out how many hours they actually worked and divide that by the check. And usually the number is a lot bigger than people even realize, that they're getting an hourly rate that's higher than what they think. Now, that's not what I wanted to talk about today. Here's the point about today, is that, so we all kind of agree, we agree that it's anti-aging. It's like youthfulness. It's looking younger, feeling younger. That's really the thing that we have to bring people. Would you all agree to that? I mean, if you had to pinpoint it, that's what our products do. All of us look younger, feel younger. How many people would love to have that? Probably everybody. And then from an income point of view, I love the way you all described it, because I have a feeling you're probably not describing this to other people, what you described to us today. And if you're able to describe what the products have done for you and others, and at the same time describe what the income has done for you and others, you're telling the whole story. And leaving part of the story out is not what we want to do, especially if we're interested in growing an organization. We want to open the door to all of that. So as I look at this today, I'm going to probably look at this and say, okay, what kind of a statement could we have for this group? These are the things that we want to do. We want to help people, whatever the statement is. We also want to help people who join this group to have whatever the statement is, so that everybody could say it with confidence. Because all the things you told me today were awesome. They're real. They're how you feel. And other people will be attracted because you're opening up and actually saying it, even if you're not making huge amounts of money. We just got to check a picture from Susan Friedman's new consultant. She took a picture of her check in her car and sent it to us and said, oh my gosh, how exciting. And it was a $100 check. So people don't need to make a lot of money to be happy to get checks in the mail. And I think we have to open up and know that not everybody has to be an executive, a presidential director, a one-star presidential director to be happy with what's at GIA. And as soon as we open up to that, we'll be attracting more people who would be interested in getting a check and taking a picture of it and sending it excitedly. And I think we'll look at our own incomes differently, because I feel sometimes we feel less than because we're not making an income that we think we should. And that permeates throughout an organization and all the way up to the top. That I think we can stop doing that. So here, I'm just going to show you a picture because I see pictures that I put together today. Whoop, I got to show you. There it is. This will be quick. So let me know if you can see that, Sue, or somebody.
Not yet. There we go.
Okay.
It's my team.
Okay, so I see things in pictures. So this is what I see. When I think of all of us, this picture will come up. And I use this every once in a while when I'm talking about an organization. This could be each of our organizations in North America, Australia, New Zealand, and in all the countries that we are going to be going into. These could be all of your customers who are absolutely excitedly happy to look younger, to feel younger, to have more energy, to have people telling them they can't believe what age they are, to not have all the situations that other people are going through, to go to reunions and look different, and to be able to pass that along to their family. This is what each of our organizations could look like as we fulfill our mission. And there's another picture I want to show you here. It's a little bit blurry, but this is probably what an organization of people who are helping to share the good news, who want to do what we do. It's a small number compared to the customer number, if that makes sense to you. And the point here is that I want to make is it doesn't take a lot of people, honestly. It doesn't take thousands and thousands of people who have a desire to help you grow and to become a leader in your organization. And I put a team of directors and above. This is what it could look like. This could be $1 million organization right here. Just this amount of people somewhere in your group, not sponsored by you. It could be 20 levels below you, but it would be in your group. This could create the income of a lifetime. And it doesn't take any more work to create this than it does to work 3 or 4 hours a day doing what we're doing. I hope you understand this, because what happens, somebody talked about it today. I think Susan Friedman said other people, if somebody was saying, hey, it's not just me, it's other people. So if we do what we say we're going to do with this group, Power Hour or whatever we end up calling, this is what it's going to look like. They're going to be excited people throughout your organization who will be doing things you're not even knowing is happening. And the checks in the mail will be astronomical. And you'll be asking yourself, am I worth it? Did I do enough to get it? All those crazy questions. But this is what's going to happen. I know, Susan, you're smiling because you know this is possible. This is it. This is what networking is all about. But it's our ability to share the vision as we've done today. What are the products doing for me and others? What is the business doing for me and others that opens the door to find these people? We can't do it with all customers. We can't. We have to be on purpose going out to find those people. And now we have a system in place to do exactly that. So this is the last slide in this that I wanted to show you, is that look at the incomes here. Think about what an extra $1,000 would do for someone's life. Seriously. I mean, really, an extra 500 would make a difference, honestly, for a lot of people, especially now. I mean, I don't even want to go into what's happening right now. But you give someone an extra $500 a month, they will be on your team forever. They're never going away. Never. And that means helping someone to get to director. Get to director, $300 to $1,000. You will have a team member forever. Someone who's going to also help you go share the good news and tell the stories that we're talking about today. That's why doing what we're doing is so important now, that we get clarity on the mission, the purpose, the vision, and talking about it. So people, I want you to get away from thinking, oh my gosh, I have to have presidential directors. I have to be a presidential director or 1-star to have something. No, you don't. All you have to do is help people to earn a check that they can take a picture of and send to you with excitement. Honestly, that's it. Help a lot of those people. If you do that, you're going to have a lot of junior directors, a lot of directors in your organization who are making a good income and loving it. The other thing that I wanted to say here is that this starts at manager, this list, but we have 2 other ranks, don't we? It's consultant and senior consultant, and we hardly ever talk about them. And I want to start talking about them. I want to start shining a light on people who could join us at that level and celebrating them joining us, because it's going to take a lot more people joining us to find those who become interested in what we're doing from a business point of view. And so I want to make a concerted effort, man. If someone comes in with $200 or $250 or $49 or whatever, we're shining a light on that, letting them know they can join our group and they can go out and make a difference in their lives and help them to create an income. So this took a little longer than I thought, but I think, can you see we're getting somewhere here? That's
Yes.
going to be helpful for real when we
Yes.
really get this down. Because as I look at this now, what I feel is that, and Karen and you and I talked about this yesterday, and where we can go with this as this group. So now when you're out talking to people about Operation Hydration, they're going through the process. And Kenzie, I think it was you that talked about this. I don't know if it was yesterday. When you're talking that to them and they say, well, how much is it? Well, how much is it? Well, there's several options. One option is retail, 946, if I'm pretty close, probably at 946, something like that. Or preferred customer. You can be a preferred customer for $19.95 or whatever it is, and then get 20% off at 7 something, or whatever products they want. And then there is the third option. And the third option is what we've all chosen, correct? We chose to be consultants, to not only use the products, but go out and share the good news. So when we're talking to someone about being consultants, you share the story that you shared today. Why you're doing what you're doing? Because of helping people, and the checks in the mail, or the part-time income, or the freedom, or the flexibility, whatever it is for you. You share that with people. And here's their options. They can become a consultant, join you and our group. And the first option would be, let's get your money back from your investment as fast as possible. Right off the bat, let's do that. And then once that's done, we can help you to create the lifestyle that you really desire. And as we go through the process to do that, you'll come a time when you've reached that, and then you'll have extra. You'll have extra money to do with what you want. You'll have choices. That's the third option that I want to tell people about, that I want this group to tell people about, to have the courage to tell those stories and offer that. And then once someone says, I want that, then all of us are dedicated 1,000,000% to helping that person to do exactly what we've said is possible, to recoup their income, to help them to create a better lifestyle for themselves, to help them to go beyond that and do what Karen and some of you are doing, helping other people. That's what this is all about. And the process that we have now, to me, it's like perfect for what we're talking about, because the door is open through Operation Hydration as a gift, which gives you the permission to help them to discover what we talked about today from you, with our videos, your story, helping them through the process to find out if one of those options is good for them. And if one is, then we know what to do. And we want to launch them. We have a whole launch process that puts them right into what we're talking about doing. Operation Hydration is the door opener, using the tools that we have, ATM, our groups. It's all right there. And that's what I was saying to Bilby. I don't even know if he's here still, but he might not be. But I would say it to all of us. Anything that you want is right before your very eyes. All we have to do is grab a hold of it through the things that we're talking about here, create this, what we're defining today, and then just get after it. And think about the picture that I just showed you of thousands and thousands of people that you and your entire group have impacted in the way that we've described that it's impacted us today. And then a smaller group of people who have created a lifestyle at the result of doing something significant for others. I think if you think of it that way, there's nothing that will stop us from reaching out to other people and growing this team, growing this group, and then doing everything possible together to make it happen. What do you think about that?
It is so simple and awesome, John. You've done a great job explaining.
It is simple. It is very simple. It's so simple, it doesn't even seem real. It's so simple. Anybody else?
Can I?
Yeah, Kenzie.
Okay. So in listening to you, I was reflecting in my very first, days and weeks, and I pushed myself to buy a larger package than what was comfortable financially, because I knew that if it was just, and again, we're talking about any entry is great, but for me, I knew that if I just did what was good for me personally, that I would probably not extend myself. And so I spent the $2,000 to buy the big package. And in 6 days, I had everything sold except what I needed for myself. So some of it I sold retail, some of it I didn't, so basically my items were free. And then from there, I went and made those phone calls and basically started with the idea that I was telling people, hey, I just found an amazing thing that you need to know about, and I just started a new business. I mean, I combined those two thoughts, and it just took off from there. So just those little ideas of sometimes, yeah, people can come in at a very comfortable entry level. Other times, maybe that person has a vision, we don't know what it is, maybe we should find out, and maybe pushing themselves a little bit might be the right answer for them, because it'll motivate them to get out of their comfort zone, because I had never done networking before in my life.
Great. So as we finish today, here's what I'll say to you is that I am 1,000,000% committed to helping every single one of you to create the picture that I showed you a moment ago in your organization, if that's what you want to do. To earn an income to help you get to a lifestyle that's comfortable, where you have choices and that you have extra to do something significant with if you want to. And that could be whatever you want. I am 1,000,000%. I will do whatever it takes to do that. And if you feel the same way, then it would be great if you reached out to someone maybe in your organization or someone you know that could really use GIA, and let them know that you and me and we are 1,000,000% committed to helping them do the same thing. And let's see if we can inspire some people that are just coasting along, hoping something will come along like this that they could be a part of, and have them join us at whatever level. I mean, people can come hang out with us. I don't even care. All I know is more people need to know about what we're doing. Think about that. Let's see. So Kedzie, Friday, you're going to take over Friday, and you're going to talk about posting and commenting. And I know that's what you're really passionate about that. So that'll be tomorrow. So join us tomorrow. And then we're back on Tuesday. And Sue, I'm hoping on Tuesday that you can start. We'll be back Monday, but Tuesday, if we can get into Zoom, talking about some nuances with Zoom and some of the things that we can do to make Zoom even look better, I think that would be great also, if you're okay with that.
I'm okay with it, but we did talk on Tuesday about Brenda and I getting together to work on going lives and how to work.
Okay, that's fine. You should have an hour. You have an hour, so you should be able to pull
Exactly,
off.
I'm thinking.
Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate you so much hanging in here. I think we've done some really good things the last 2 days, so it's time to buckle up and really get after it, in my opinion. All right. Have a great day.
Hey, Sue.
See you tomorrow. Sue, I think you had a question for somebody. Is that Rosemary?
Yeah, Rosemary, yeah. I don't know if Brenda's still on here or not. So we tried to do what I had talked about doing a Facebook Live, kind of a combination with Zoom. And I'm wondering if we're going to need a little bit more Zoom knowledge for those of us that are wanting to start using Zoom to do one-on-ones with clients and things, because a lot of us could get a lot more done if we could start doing this while we're isolated, but we're just not comfortable with it. We mostly have just been clicking on it because the link is sent to us. And I think if more people realize the free account would still give them a lot of availability. So that's another, I think, a really good subject, especially for those of us that can't get out in public a whole lot.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day.